Morning guys, Crypto Mark back with the next weekly update of the KRC20 tracking journey, wallet tracking journey. So again, slight recap if you're new. Tokens down this left hand side here, purchased for around about $10 to $12 each. Back in December, a couple in January that was added to the portfolio, and tracking every week what they're doing price wise. Bit more to it than that. Number of holders and things I've tracked, market cap size I've tracked, that kind of thing. But do you know what it is? For the most part, the markets are all doomed at the minute, aren't they? So a lot of things are down. Not looking too much into this in any great detail, other than the fact that, as you would expect, given everything else that's going on, the price is coming down essentially. Some of them are dead, more or less. Some are zero balance, as you can see. Some are in the cent, so effectively more or less dead, I would imagine. Even some of these ones in the small dollars could be dead, or it could be a case that nothing's happening in the market, so why would you promote your things? And people are just waiting. The developers are just waiting until things have a bit of an upturn before they start going again, basically, and start pushing again and developing and whatnot. And you can understand that. So again, they're just like sort of to be kept an eye on, basically. And I'm going to do this weekly run through and just have a look at them and have a look at some of the KRC20s in general. Again, with the market being the way it is, it's a little bit of possibly a real flat time to be looking at this and documenting it. But again, I want this to be an end-to-end journey, or an end to a long period of time in journey. So I've started at the beginning when I've started them, and I'm going to track them every week. And if not a lot happens, that's the reality of it. Not a lot happens. We'll talk about other bits and pieces as we go through as well. Have a look at some of the other interesting things happening with Kaspa, etc., which I've been doing in previous videos. And I hope that you guys get something out of it, be that you're new and you've just stumbled upon this, possibly searching for KRC20s or what have you, or you've been along for the journey since the beginning. Apologies if some of it's a little bit repetitive. Not a lot happening, so there's only so much you can say. Do you know what I mean? So that's kind of the way things are shaping up as we speak. In terms of the individuals, we've got Croak doing okay. We've got Wolfie, which has always done okay. In fairness, it seems to be resisting everything that's happening in the market in general. There is utility behind this project. It's a place down in London. It's an NFT. There's NFTs associated with it as well, which give you real utility. And I wanted to touch on that a little bit. I don't know who you watch in terms of your YouTube. I don't know how new, like I say, I don't know how new you are to crypto. If you're new, welcome. If you've been around the block a little bit, like I have, again, obviously welcome. But you're going to have a different mindset to newer people, and a different understanding, basically, to newer people. And I don't know where you've been looking at various people you might follow on YouTube, various influencers on X or what have you. But there's been a lot of talk in the last meme cycle from YouTubers. I remember seeing this where they were just basically saying no one cares about utility, nobody cares about how good the project is, no one's interested in the tech, they just want to get in, make their money and get out, sort of thing. And that might be true to those particular people, but I think that's a bit of a false narrative to be pushing on the wider crypto enthusiasts. Ultimately, anybody new coming into the space, and they're not here as yet, obviously, because crypto is it's down in the doldrums a little bit, and it's the hype machine hasn't kicked off. And there's a lot of people who are yet to find crypto, which again shows you how early we are and how early we are to Kaspa. And the point I'm trying to make, I'm going around the houses a little bit with it, is when you do come into the market and you're new to it, you want to be investing in the best, don't you? You'd want to be buying the best stocks, be that Apple or Google or whatever. You don't just sort of do what you do with some horse racing and just pick a nice colour or a nice name and invest in that blindly. That's not how things work. So I think that's a little bit of leading people down the garden path a little bit by saying that the tech doesn't matter, the utility doesn't matter. It very much does, in my opinion. and that'll be bore out by the fact that tokens and projects and coins that don't have anything really substantial behind them will probably just fade out, or may already have done so. But projects that are building, that are long term, they've got ecosystems, they're development, they've got things coming, which Kaspa has in absolute abundance, and they solve problems, and it's cheap in terms of fees, and it's accessible to people, and it's quick, and all the stuff that Kaspa has going on are real fundamentals for, if I was a new investor coming into a market, in any market, you look at the top performing and the top potential, and that's what you're buying into really. When you're buying Kaspa, you're buying into the potential, because it's there for everybody to see, and it's just those building blocks of it basically coming to fruition now. That's kind of the way it is. So we'll have a little look at some Kaspa things in general. I'm just going to check this. I've updated this software that I'm using. It had an update this morning because frustratingly I had to make a few videos last week because it kept dying on me, and lo and behold, Google Chrome has died. Right, sorry about this. I'm just going to have to launch Brave browser and see if I can get that one up and running. I don't know if anyone's got any tips on this OBS. I've been using it for quite a while and it's been fine, but all of a sudden when you're in the middle of making a video, it'll just black screen, usually on the browser, and it kind of hasn't made a difference whether it's been Brave browser or whether it's been Chrome, and I don't know why it's done it, to be honest. I'm just going to open a new one of these, window capture. Sorry, not ideal. Pain on the backside, to be honest. Brave, right, okay, hopefully you can see that. And I will add my little mug on the front. Actually, you don't need to see my face, do you really? You've seen it before. Probably sick of looking at it. I need a haircut anyway, and a shave. So, right, we'll get on, we'll jump on here. I'll just sporadically check back to make sure it's still working. So as you can see, KAS is sitting at 6 cents there or thereabouts. It's been bouncing down to like 5.5, back to 6. I've had a few buy orders in, and again, admittedly, just little amounts, because I've got like what I can afford to put in at the minute. In Kaspa, obviously it's down substantially to what it was, but I'm just buying little 20s, 30s, 40s, $50, pounds equivalent every now and again, and I've just been putting some orders in, so hopefully scoop up some more when it comes down to the level. So if you don't know how that works, you can go on any, if you've got Kraken or whatever you've got, wherever you've got it, whatever exchange you use to buy, you can, on some of them, you can set a buy order at like 10% less than the price is currently, or 5%, or you can set your own actual price, 5.6 cents, or whatever you want really. And then you do the buy order, and it basically just freezes that amount of money, and then when that price is reached, it'll trigger and buy it for you. And that's kind of a little way to scoop up a little bit. You could just buy it now, instant buy. So what I've been doing, if I'm honest, is buying a bit now at this kind of price range, and buying putting a bit in for a purchase at a little bit lower. You just feel like you're getting a bit more. In all honesty, the amounts that I'm buying, the small monetary amounts, it's not going to make any difference if I buy it now or I buy it at half a cent cheaper, really, because I'm not buying that many, as we just referenced. But you feel like you're winning, don't you? So anything's a win in this doom and gloom situation that we're in at the minute with all the trade stuff that's going on. But again, for me, I'll touch on that briefly, and I don't want to get political or anything like that, but I think it's all just a process. It's all just a game. People are just shaking themselves into position, really, and I think everyone will come to the table. Deals will be struck, tariffs will be struck. All this is just the big show at the minute, and it's all the big guys like bashing their chest, like gorillas, vying for that position. We all know who the big people are and the smaller people are, and ultimately I think everyone will get around the table. It makes no sense for anybody to be screwed over, getting their own country screwed over, So I think it'll all sort itself out. It's just jostling for position. And in fairness, I can understand it if America have been kind of on the raw end of deals of late, and they feel that they've been they're not being looked after as well as they could have been. I can understand why you would then want to shake it up. And people who are in charge have got the right to do things as they see fit, really. So no qualms from me on any of that sort of stuff, but it just means the stock market takes an absolute clattering, crypto takes a hiding on the back of it. Hey ho, we've been here before. It'll not be the first. It's not the first, and it'll definitely not be the last time. But you only lose if you sell. So if you bought into something and it's come tumbling down, if you're unlucky enough to have invested at the wrong point, but again, no one's got foresight to see when that is, and then prices have tumbled down, it's like you just hold, don't you? That's what they say, stock market and crypto, and your bigger crypto players, the medium to long term. You're not putting your rent money in or your mortgage money in and taking it out in 4, 5, 6 weeks hoping to have made money. If you are, that's the wrong way to do it. Again, none of this is advice, financial advice of any sort. I'm not qualified to give that. Please do your own research, but certainly what I would say is don't lock money up in anything, whether it's in anything, crypto or stock markets or anything else. Savings accounts, even where you can get like a certain fixed rate for an amount of time. Don't lock money up if you're going to need it sooner than the end date, or sooner than a good couple of years, really, in all honesty. Okay, that's enough waffling on in that respect. So back to here. So this is Kas FYI, which I like using. It shows the top trending, top gainers, top markets, etc. for the KRC20s. Nacho is back down to around about $10 million market cap. It was up to 17, 18. It's been 24 not too long ago, since I've been doing these videos. It's bounced around, if we're honest, between 6, which it was at not too long ago, 6 million and 20 odd million. This one here, KS, is slowly but surely creeping up. I looked at it very briefly, and I'm going to need to do some more research on it, to be honest, because let's be fair, $6 million market cap is still double early, well early, in terms of where you see some of these projects go to in the billions. Do you know what I mean? So whether you get in at 6 or you get in at 8, 9, 10, it's kind of splitting hairs a little bit. But yeah, Nacho has always been the mainstay at number 1. But this one, I've been keeping an eye on it from about 3 million, and it's creeping up. It looks as though it's like got Telegram game elements to it. We'll have a little look at it in a second. But again, the rest of them, they're up and down. Kaspa's down 11%. They're kind of bouncing around. Some of these ones are the ones we've got in the project. Bert and Crex, etc. Croak are the ones that we've got on the spreadsheets, the exercise. But again, they're kind of trending down over for the most part. Excuse me, I've been a bit under the weather, hence why the video's sort of a day late as well. But your main stairs, your top 10, or whatever you think. Again, this Kaspa BTC, I think this has kind of come out of nowhere, or it hasn't been on my radar either, to be honest. But yeah, we need to have a little look, see what we've got going on with a bit more of a deeper dive into some of these. Nacho, I think, will be number 1, stay number 1, but this one's certainly giving it a decent shot, like, to try and potentially overtake it. Kaspa, that's been around since day 1. I remember minting that as well. Again, jury's out in terms of what's going on with them all behind the scenes, or they're just waiting because the markets are flat and you're kind of wasting your time, like really going for things, really promoting when the markets are sort of in the position they're in. But how long do you say that for as well? That's the other thing, isn't it? You can say that, and then eventually people are going to get fed up with waiting. Nacho, I know, have been doing promotions with their NFTs, where they put their NFTs on a slight discount. And yeah, but this one, yeah, we need to have a look. Actually, I'm going to jump in and have a little look now. Fully minted. It's on ZX. That's an exchange, smaller exchange, but still an exchange nonetheless. What's been happening? I see. It's been on that build up. To be fair, I did look at it when it was a lot lower down. Holders, and this is fair because I've seen on the website that they do have a lot of the supply for the games and such like. Again, that can put people off when there's a lot of supply that isn't just spread out between the actual holder people. But again, this is the thing. So 95% was pre-minted, which means it's all in amongst these wallets here. So the danger with something like that, and I'm not going to accuse anybody of any of this, but we've seen in the past the danger with things like that is if certain wallets have got big holdings, that holding can get hacked, stolen, someone can access the seed phrase, or it could be a ruse to, people have sort of rugged it and then blamed it on something else. I've seen that kind of sketchiness happen. It's very hard to disprove any of these sorts of things. It's crypto, it can be a bit wild sometimes. Or essentially like a big sale could come in and which could hammer the price for everybody else. So that's why people are skeptical a little bit of stuff like that. Let's have a little look on here, see what we've got going on. I'm just going to check this is still working. Yes, it is. Brilliant, good stuff. So there's a white paper. Wallets, the tokenomics. I'll show you the tokenomics, what we just spoke about there. Yeah, so 50% for the game. Fair launch, no pre-sales, tokenomics, and coin distribution will be as transparent as possible for the community. The wallets have been publicly doxed. Developers' funds are locked for 12 months and be gradually unlocked after that. That's decent. Okay. Yeah, so you can see that's how they're kind of doing it. And the idea behind this is you grow your project, it gets bigger, everything grows with it. That's kind of the way it would be. The white paper, obviously, if you're interested, you can come and have a look at it. There's an app. There is an app. This is what I did see. Gaming platform on Telegram. So that's sort of a new thing for Kaspa, I think. This is the first one I've seen like this. There's lots of those ones on Ton and other projects. Ton being the native Telegram app. Again, that sentiment for Ton seems to have flattened quite a lot as well at the minute. But again, hopefully the good projects will survive and come again. There's just so many new projects coming out all the time. Like sometimes the older ones are getting a little bit left behind. But again, I guess that's just the way things are now, which are different to what it used to be like in the markets, where there was only so many cryptos, but there's literally hundreds getting launched every single day, and everyone's trying to outdo every previous one. I'll give them a follow so I can keep an eye. So what we've got going on, Spaces, last one on the 7th of March, it's a while ago in fairness. Posting a lot of Shy's videos and things, promoting a lot of the Kaspa things. That's good, that's fine. Yeah, more to be looked into, to be honest. There was an airdrop, I think. Yeah, that's fine. Natural Congo, see, it was 3.34 million. 23rd of March, which is kind of what it looked like on the table. You can see Nacho was 13, Congo was 5. It's now overtaken Congo and it's a firm second in 6 million. Kaspa is down just off looking at these figures here. But yeah, so again, interesting things to certainly have a look at if you want to do that. I don't think the NFTs are out yet, but I know that they've got NFTs just from reading that Twitter page before. See what we've got going on. Kaspa.com domains. I'm waiting with bated breath for all this to happen. I'm not connecting my wallet when I'm on here, but basically the domains that we've talked about before, which are kns.kas. There's the ability to trade them coming up soon, and that is good. I'll have a look on here. I'll show you what I mean. kns.kas. Again, I speak about this quite regularly. It's where you can inscribe a domain name onto your wallet. So cryptomark.kas, for example, which I've got incidentally, which I'm sure you're not surprised to know. So if anyone wanted to donate any Kaspa to me, I'm not asking for this, by the way, but I'm just in theory how it works. If anyone wanted to send any Kaspa to me, rather than me giving them a wallet address, they can just send it to cryptomark.kas and send whatever, and it comes through to me because it's tied to that wallet. But what they're going to be doing is allowing the ability for you to sell your name. So if you own amazon.kas, and when crypto kicks off further down the line and Kaspa's massive, which I'm pretty sure it will be, Amazon might come knocking on your door and asking you for amazon.kas. Or likewise, what I mean by that is you can list amazon.kas for sale, and Amazon will come along and offer you however much. It depends how much you're after for it. So yeah, that's what's going to be happening. Transfer is live. So transfer is live. So you can actually transfer names between one wallet and another. And then on the back of that comes the bit where you can then charge a cost for that. So yeah, that's good. That's exciting. Waiting for that to come in. 20,000 of these now have been done, these subscriptions. So that's good. Trading is coming live this week. That was 20 hours ago. So that's good. Yeah, promising, really promising. Looking forward to seeing how it all works when it comes through. It's great. Check this is still working on here. OBS is holding up. Excellent. Right, what we're going to do is going to have a little look at the Kaspa.com, little look at the NFTs, see what we've got going on. 600 floor for Nacho, 10,000 supply, 63% done. Cat claim, I didn't know what this one was. 100% minted, total supply 900, pre-mint 100%. I'm not sure what that's about. Kango, Castags, these are some new ones to what I've seen. Cas Bulls, good. Crow Club, 300. $350 on the secondary market. They've come down a little bit because they were like 600-700 not long ago. Okay, fair enough. I still like the one I've got one of these ones down here. Cassie Apes, I still like these bad boys. 80. I think the floor's come down a little bit on them. I think the floor's a little bit higher than that. And obviously what you need to factor in when you're looking at these is the fact that Kaspa's also come down. So if you bought one of these a month ago, you potentially, the value of Kaspa's come down, so you need to factor that in as well. That's the other thing. But yeah, there's lots going on. Again, it's super new. This is the problem, that it's all super brand new. And I think people that have been in the space a while gets lost on them a little bit, like me. So I'm rocketing around thinking everyone's coming into crypto and everyone's looking at it, and they're not yet. That's the thing. But I am. So I feel like that's like just the norm, but it's not the norm. It's very much the opposite of the norm. There's loads and loads of time still to accumulate what you're convicted in. For me, Kaspa is my number one conviction because I can see the tech and it all makes sense, and it takes a while to get your head around it. And then when you're aware of the capabilities, that's when you get more bullish personally. but there's people out there that have never even heard of Kaspa. They're loosely even, they barely know what Bitcoin is. So if you think they've got to get their head around that, Bitcoin, they've got to get their head around the digital, you've got to get their head around wallets, exchanges, how everything works, and then from there filter down and find great projects like Kaspa, and then that's all their journey. Really, that's their journey to go on, and that will take time. And again, it's a boring answer for anyone that's watching and like sitting on their hands waiting for a massive explosion of a bull market and all these people to come piling in. But you know what's happening with tariffs doesn't help. People's money might be going down in stocks, and then they might be thinking, well, I'm not getting into something that's more volatile than stocks when stocks are bad enough at the minute. And again, that's fair comment. We can only control what we can control. And yeah, that's how it is. But you know, I think for me, being here is miles times much better than not being here in terms of in this space and being in Kaspa. I firmly believe, and again, not financial advice or not trying to influence anyone at all in any way, shape or form, will be a good decision for me in the future. So yeah, there we go. I think I will leave it here. I've rattled on what feels like for quite a while. Oh crikey, yeah, I've rattled on for quite a while. Not a huge amount to report on the KRC20s. I didn't expect it to be. I don't think anyone watching would have expected them to have been any massive changes given what we're going through, which we've spoke about at length. But I'll be here next week with more, and anything that anyone wants to see, if anyone wants to look at any certain projects or any NFTs or anything like that, then please let me know and I will do my best to accommodate. And yeah, appreciate you all watching, guys. I can see that the figures seem to be the same more or less in terms. I guess it's possibly the same people watching. I haven't done a deep dive into that either. But for everyone that watches, subscribes, and comments, I really do appreciate it. So thank you very much. Take care, everybody. Bye bye.